Ghana, they actually started his 7 day life celebration in the Akan tradition, and that started today, I believe, at 10 o'clock Ghanaian time and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so, for more information, family, make sure that you head on over to abibitumi.com for more information. They have an entire webpage dedicated to Obenfo Kamau Kambon, Nana Kamau Kambon. And so, anyway, family, they have on the website right here, and I'll drop the link in the chat. It's 4 ways to share your love and support. One, it says you can register and attend the 1 week celebration of life ceremony, which started today, and I was correct. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 3 p.m. Ghanaian time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sorry, family. I had it backwards. So you all can click this link, the green link or the green tab right there. It says attend the celebration of life. 2, it says you can send a love donation, okay, to Nana Kamau Kambon Memorial Fund. And so they have that right here on the website. 3, you can record and send in a selfie video with your memories and reflections and legacy and impact to support at abibitumi.com. And lastly, 4, family, you can send in pictures or videos with Baba Kamau to support at abibitumi.com. And so, family, I'm going to drop this link in the chat to make it easier for you. And I see your greetings. Greetings. I see it all in the chat. So, family, make sure that you click on this link, okay? And we have to show this family some love. The Cambon family, they are warriors for our people. They've been on the front line. These are frontliners, family, okay? These are frontliners, and we have to show our support, family. So make sure that you head on over to BB2Me, read about his life, read the testimonies. Make sure that you show him some love, show the family some love. Ashe? Ashe. And I'm going to play a 4-minute video. I want you to hear from this mighty warrior. I want you to hear his voice, and then I'll bring on my Babas, Baba Mwalimu Baruti and Baba Amin will come on to help us celebrate and honor the life and legacy of Dr. Cambon, Baba Nana Cambon. Here we go.
Where you going, brother? Sit down, man. Where you going? We need you.
See, I do low power radio.
Oh, that's right. And he can't tell you where he's going, too. I've been on that radio, too. Brother, come on up.
I want to say a couple of things, and I really don't want you all to miss me before we get ready to go. My wife was here, and she was the president of the Association of Black Psychologists a couple of years ago, and she was responsible for taking about 500 people, including about 300 black psychologists, to Ghana, West Africa, for their national conference. The reason I point that out is because I want to say a couple of things, and I'm going to go out of bounds with what I have to say relative to what we've been talking about. First of all, I grew up in Brooklyn, and I saw, looking back on my life, I saw about 30 of my friends die, getting shot, overdosing on drugs, any number of things that took them off the planet, beautiful brothers. So as I started to become more conscious, I looked around, I started asking this very important question. I think the most important question that I asked myself and that you can ask yourself is why? And I wanted to find out what was going on. So I began to change. I began to examine everything. I don't like to use the word critically, but I started to really check things out. So I went through a very, very serious change. Serious change. And what my wife and I did, we decided that we were going to drop out from this system. We delivered 2 of our 3 children at home using midwives. She didn't take any medication. We didn't go to a doctor. She talked me into doing that, but it was a beautiful experience for me to be there to help deliver our children. They were born, by the way, 2 years apart on the same day, and our oldest daughter helped us deliver our children. We also changed our diets. We saw the hospital system was killing our people, so we changed our diets. We have been vegan for about 30 years. That means no meat at all in any form, no dairy products, no sugar, no white flour, the same thing that Dr. Whitaker talked about. because we understood that we were in a war. And I want to emphasize that to you. We are in a war. We left New York and went to North Carolina, and really it's on her again, we decided that we were not going to go in debt because the new form of slavery was economic slavery. Well, we got some land, we were very fortunate, and we built our own house. We built a log house. It took us 16 months. We worked night and day, every day for the 16 months. And she was out there with a chainsaw in the cold, in the rain, and we worked and we built the house so we would not have to give white people any money. I taught on the college level for a number of years at a so-called black college, and I'm down against black colleges. I'm going to tell you straight up, because some of the madness that's going on in these schools. But what I want to say is that there are two things going on the planet now. One is that when white people came to us and said, we're going to free you, we're going to emancipate you from the plantation, what they did was extended the boundaries of the plantation and made it an international plantation. Made us think that we were free. In addition to that, they made every white person on earth a plantation master or owner. So there are two things in operation. We are in an international prison. It's not just in America, but everywhere we go, our people are dying. So the things that are in operation on this planet is that white people want to kill us. I want you to understand that. They want to kill you. And it has nothing to do with what the kind of degree you have, what kind of car you have, what kind of title you have, what fraternity you belong to, what religion you belong to. They want to kill you because that is part of their.
He was saying that is part of their plan. And so this video is actually longer, but I couldn't find like the full video on the internet or on YouTube. So I've been finding bits and pieces. It's another clip of him talking and actually calling for the extermination of white folks. And this is like a minute. So I'll play this and then I'll bring on my Babas. Here we go, family.
The system is not stopping. And then finally, I want to say that we need one idea. And we're not thinking about a solution to the problem. We're dealing with all these other things, but these are diversions from the solution to the problem. And we have to start to think about a solution to the problem so that these young brothers and sisters who are here now, who are 15, 16, and 17, are not here 25 years later talking about these same problems. Now, how do I know that the white people know that we are going to come up with a solution to the problem? I know it because they have retina scans, they have what they call racial profiling, DNA banks, and they're monitoring our people to try to prevent the one person from coming up with the one idea. And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system and stop playing and get very serious and not be diverse.
All right, family. And you saw like that wasn't me that put like that disclaimer up there that called it hate speech or hate ideology. To me, it was truth speech, family. It was truth speech and it was truth ideology. Ashe. And so anyway, family, without further ado, I bring on Baba Mwalimu, Baruti, Baba Amin, Oju Woke, and Brother Knowledge Born Allah. Peace and love to the warriors. How you doing, Babas? How are you?
BB48.
A BB48.
A BB
A BB to me.
You feel me?
Ashe. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules. Each one of you, you're very, very busy men. And I reached out to you all yesterday and told you my intentions to honor Baba Cambon. And you said, no problem. You know, I'm there. And so, Baba, Mwalimu Baruti, I know that you knew him, right? Like you actually knew him and had a relationship with him. I just know of him. And I remember this video that aired in 2005 and it went viral and everybody was talking about it. But I know that you actually knew him, Baba. And so what words or, how would you describe Baba Cambon, and what do you think his legacy is, and what should we learn from his legacy, Baba, or take from his legacy in his life?
First and foremost, people need to understand he wasn't playing. Okay, we get people here who run off at the mouth, who, revolutionary this and revolutionary that, and they're actually doing nothing. Their personal lives don't reflect that. And if you look at what their agenda is, what they're saying, you look at the end result of that, you look at the outcome, then that's dovetails. It's right in sync with where Yoruga wants us to go in the first place. Or Cambon wasn't, he didn't talk a lot. He talked to people, but he wasn't a person of a lot of words. He was a doer. So, and it was exemplified in the first clip that you showed where, okay, food's bad, stop eating it. I remember the first time I met him, and we drove there from Atlanta, and he said, you're all right. And I said, I'm good. Had some coffee, carried me. He said, coffee kills you. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to try to work my way. He said, no, you do it. You stop drinking. And he looked at me, you stop drinking it. What is the issue here? What's the discussion? You stop drinking it. It's killing you. You stop drinking that subtle suicide that he talked about, that term that I love, I think probably more than any other term that he used, that subtle suicide. But we were walking around in amazement for 2 or 3 days. Our daughter went up there. She was, I guess, maybe 6th or 7th grade or something like that. But we went up there and we were utterly amazed at what we saw, because we drove onto this land. We saw a garage, the one that they had lived in while they were building this house. He said she was out with a chainsaw and all the rest of this. They lived in a garage while they were building this house. And you go inside of this house, and it was, if you didn't understand the symbolism, you think the center of it was a teepee, because it was round and it went straight up to a point. Okay, and you had all of this, everywhere you looked in this house was African. You looked on the doors in the cabinet of the kitchen, and there were Dinka symbols on the cabinet doors. It was African. I remember waking up and going into the kitchen, and Nana Mawia in there making banana bread with, bananas. So we go walking around, and they took us to their cultural center, and I'm standing in there. People can't understand the level of amazement that I'm talking about. Okay, when we talk about the simplicity of being African, they used to hear your mama remember talk about us, and that being African, they were being African on the land. You walk into this place, and there was a wall, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 feet long, that had article after story of the story after of the destruction of African people at the hands of Yoruga. So you could stand there, like for a day reading. You have to have a ladder to read the ones that were at the top, but reading the discussion, that they had. And it was so sad to me when he made this statement about Yoruga has to go, how so many of those people who were benefiting from that center, who were benefiting from his and Nana Mawia's knowledge, they scattered.
Of course.
He didn't know who he was anymore. Assisting Yoruga in destroying him by removing some of the protection that he should have had. They didn't take him out. Even though I will sit there and say they probably had a part to do with what the scholars say. Whatever happens to me, blame Europeans, period.
Right, period. I
don't care what the evidence is. You blame Europeans. But I looked at him very much as what, they call intellectual maroon. He was a professor, whether he was in the classroom or not. He knew what he was talking about. He wasn't playing that hateful ideology they talked about or they printed up there. That's Yoruga's system of aspiring to be white supremacists. That's the whole system.
Come on, Baba.
Okay, so they were always targeted, and of course, those of us who are meek. I looked at the scarcity of the audience on both of those, the one at Howard and this one. And I said, this is us. We're scared to be seen, to be heard. We're scared to turn on to a program. We know Urugu, we know that they're watching, but we're scared to turn on a program where something is talked about that might not be showing love for Urugu because they may see us involved. So that scattering of this community is almost instantaneous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That scattering, you saw it. You know, I don't live there, but you saw it. I looked at somebody, I saw a family that had taken the African idea of sovereignty, of being African, and applying it in their home. You know, regardless of personality, regardless of age, regardless of sex, whatever, you saw being African in practice.
Absolutely.
You know, you saw them working to establish a model. What is it? What they say? If you want to learn how to run a nation, then you run your family. You learn how to run your family. And they ran their family accordingly. There was no, you know, there was laughter, there was fun, there was love, all the rest of that stuff. But there was this seriousness about being African that was evident. Nobody had to say it; you could see it. And I wanted to I guess, not take up too much time.
No, Baba, speak. Please speak, Baba.
You know, you talk about a measuring rod. You know, what are we supposed to do with this? Because next week, most of the folks will have forgotten. They won't even remember his name. You know, most folks not going to remember Nana Mawia. They're not going to remember that she was president of ABSI. They're not going to remember, you know, that she's still doing the work. They're not going to remember that she's still counseling African people, African cultures, and she does this better than anybody who we know. You know, NEI is constantly sending people to her because the problems that they have need to be dealt with by an African mind. So it's like they're still doing this work and we're doing everything in our power to forget that they ever existed. Okay, so this will be forgotten. The scarcity of the audience is going to die. Europeans are sitting there waiting for it. Same thing they did or attempted to do with Nana John Henry Clark, because European Jews didn't like him because he told the truth about them. As soon as he's gone, we scatter. And when I say us, if you're family, then you can talk about family.
Come on, talk about it, Baba.
Talk about family. But insiders, when you're part of that family, you can talk about that family. And I'm talking about us. What's going to happen as a result of this? Many of us, I remember being at Morehouse coming the morning after college transitioned. And I remember listening to these divinity students talk about good riddance. Using the words good riddance. I was upset. Using the words good riddance. These are supposed to be aspiring men of God. Using the words good riddance. And I'm thinking about beyond them. No, you know, I know idiots. I know Negroes.
Right.
But I'm thinking about beyond, to the lost souls, to the ones who are afraid. So if you even showed them a piece of that video, he started talking about African something, we're running. So how do we use this? How do we be African? How do we pick up that spear and that shield and practice this art? Make him proud. Because he's watching either, you know, we got these spiritualists, and I have nothing against them. I know some beautiful, strong, powerful African-centered spiritualists. But we have some of these spiritualists who will pretend like he's not watching. Pretend like he's not there, you know, observing what's going on, and the disrespect that they're going to try to hand him in order to secure the love and appreciation of our destroyers. Okay. These folks are literally trying to remove us from existence. They have us believing that you don't kill anybody. And I'm not just talking about me. This is not separate from his thought. They have us literally believing that you can't kill an entire enemy, because this was a tradition of us before we met Urugu. We didn't do that. We didn't remove a whole people, a whole ethnic group. We didn't destroy entire people like they did in the islands, like they did in Australia, like they did in New Zealand. We never did that. We would stop short, very short of that, because we respected human life. But this man was correct. His analysis was clear. He didn't need to sit up and pull out 40 million volumes or what have you and show this statistic. In fact, he talked about the uselessness of statistics, which I agree with 100%. It should be obvious in your face I need to show you statistics that Europeans are trying to kill us, trying to remove us from existence. I got to show you some numbers. So he wasn't showing numbers. He wasn't talking about how many of this and how many of that. Look around. It should be obvious to you, unless you are a fool, unless you are so menticidal that you have your blinders on. You can't see because you don't want to see. So the real sense, he was the family was a measuring rod of what it means to be African. Okay, this changed so many people. The one thing I talk about the most relative to him, which really, and he was always, there was always short, simple, sweet stuff. It wasn't long, elaborated, 2-hour lecture on this, hour lecture on that. It was always short, sweet, to the point. And I forgot what I was talking to him about. It'll come to me like 4 hours from now, but I forgot what he was talking about. But I was questioning why he was considering that relative to African people. I said, what's that got to do with it, with African people? I was like, it's like, and that was when I really began to look at everything being political. And he said, everything I do, I assess it relative to its impact on the re-Africanization of African people. Everything. And, me being, I wasn't a little child, but I was amazed at the clarity and the beauty of his thought. And I'm saying, everything. Is it like toothpaste? The use of your toothpaste? Yeah, I measure it out. Everything that I do, every breath I take, how I do it is based upon its impact on African people, how it's going to impact on us in the future. And we become so individualized that we can't imagine the sense of that. That doesn't make sense to most of us because we're so focused on the here and now, which someone else has us trained to do. We can't even do that. We not only need to call his name, we need to be his name.
Come on.
We're still playing these serious, these silly, not serious, these silly conversational games. And we do need to talk to each other, Ani.
Right.
But we're playing these silly conversational games which allow the enemy just to continue to murder us while we forget that we're being murdered. We're so involved in these silly conversations. Okay. You have people who are going to want to debate about whether he was right or wrong. And those who are debating, knowing that he was right, there's no need for debate. Do what he did. Do exactly what he did. They say you want to be African, you want to be him, then you have to do what he did in your own way, to the best of your ability, to the best of your understanding. That's it. And the last one I really want to make now is related to everything I said before, where we have allowed them to remove our voices in many ways, whether it's them who look like them or them who look like us. We have allowed them, or we are allowing them, to remove our best voices, our most profound voices. Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Francis Cress Wilson. We have to forget. We see a picture occasionally. Yeah, I know her. That's Cress Wilson. Yeah, that's her. Yeah. We have allowed them to forget our voices. And when you remove the voices, you remove the awareness. So there's nobody. How are you going to remember to do? How are you going to think or know what it means to be African if you don't know that person's words? We walk around with T-shirts on, with these people on the T-shirts, and we haven't read or studied anything by them, but because somebody said that there's somebody, then we wear those T-shirts, not understanding. If they take those voices away, okay, if nobody's reading his books, what he says, and when you read, I said that last day, but when you read his books, you see the common sense. He's not using nothing elaborate, no $90 words. He's just plain old, in your face. You're acting stupid. Okay, get grounded. Touch your ancestors. Talk to your ancestors. Learn, think, do. It's not complicated with him.
Come on.
So he said we're at war, and I'm hearing some young folks saying that. We say we're at war. He meant it. It wasn't a slogan. It wasn't fancy words to get him attention. I never saw him seeking attention. He just did. Set the standard, understood our ancestors' words. You be the example. Talk is, maybe I've lost it, but I remember coming up in a reality where the adults were saying talk is cheap.
Come on. Come on, Baba.
That was like the opposite. So when I think about, simplicity, when I think about us being at war, when I think about being African, I think about the work that he's done. The things that he supported, the people who he's talked to, the model that he set.
Ashe, Baba. And I just, Baba, that was beautiful. And I just, when you were talking, I was thinking about his son, because he in the environment that produced his son Okunini Cambon. And I see, so I didn't know him, Nana Cambon personally, but I know his son, and to know his son is to know him, because I see what he produced, Baba. He produced a warrior. And I see now, I'm just from listening to you, I'm getting the understanding as to why Okunini Cambon is who he is because of Nana Cambon. And that's what his father and his mother produced.
And we got to experience that. He tutored here at Akabit.
Wow.
So we got to experience that, him and three other brothers who were in the Atlanta University Center, who came and spent, a good deal. Well, in fact, that's why we went to greet them and see them at their house, was through him. Was, a function, the rites of passage program that came out of that and evolved out of that for adult men.
Wow.
That was part of the process. So, even we forget, even when our children stray a little bit, because there's a lot of glitter in this world. Baba Amin talks about that a lot.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of glitter in this world, but when we look at them, we have to know that we gave them everything that we could.
Absolutely.
We gave them the best of what it means to be African, and they're going to see. They're just not going to see necessarily in the time we want them to, but they're going to see.
Absolutely.
They're going to see.
Ashe. Baba, Ojuok, what are your thoughts on the life and legacy of Nana Cambon and what we can learn and take away from his life?
First off, I just want to thank the creator and ancestors just to be a part of, maybe a part of this discussion, and to be a part of the community that cares, and the community that sees it, and the community that's willing to pay homage and honor our great warriors, regardless of how others may be afraid to do, or others don't because they don't agree or whatever. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to have been able to attend the memorial, the celebration via Zoom this morning. To hear the drums, to hear all the testimonials. I couldn't even get into Zoom for a while because it was packed to the capacity. I think somebody had to go upgrade so everybody could get in. And but we got in there and just to hear the testimonies, the love, the respect, to see the beauty of the Abiba Toomey Center that they built in West Africa. And we're fortunate here at the Uhuru Academy that we have a granddaughter. His granddaughter is actually a student in our online program. And she's been since the beginning of this fall. And I've always seen Dr. Cambon from afar. I never met him. And when I got word this summer that they were considering putting the granddaughter in the Uhuru Academy, I'm like, oh, okay, what, the Cambons? We made it,
That's right.
We must be doing something right, because they look like Baba said, he's a doer. In that family, that's a family of doers. They're very intentional in everything that they do. And I got to meet Baba Cambon briefly when we were doing the interview to enroll his granddaughter, and I knew who he was, and I was nervous too. A part of me was like, what? This man was asked me if his grandbaby's in good hands, and when he looked into the camera, and I was like, man, I just saw C-SPAN all over again. Like that's him, and he is not playing right now. He is not playing any games, and just being engaged with that family for the short time that we have, and following his life. Consistency is what pops up.
Come on.
He called for extermination. What I love most about it is that he understood his queen and family understood that extermination began internally. And they divested themselves
Yes, they
of
did.
the system while still being a resource for others, which is amazing. How you find warriors in our community who divest from the system. They ain't getting the paycheck, they ain't getting the 401k, but everybody knock on their door to solve the problems. Right? And for them to be a beautiful presence in North Carolina through the bookstore, you can't underestimate the value of a Black-owned bookstore in our communities. For them to hold that down, build their own house, then finally divest of themselves of America completely. They didn't get them; they went home. He took his family home and built something. They're building something beautiful there. And what I love most is the next generation and the generation after that is well taken care of. His grandbaby came into Uhuru Academy writing college level papers. Like I'm like, oh, I got to step my game up. Oh, all right, you know. And so the blueprint is there, and you can't help but look at how he moved and say, okay, that's walking it like you talking right there. And then you have to look at yourself and give yourself a walk it, talk it report card. You know, I'll be the first to admit, I don't have the just stop gift. I do on certain things, but I have it on others.
Come on, talk about it, Baba.
And it's a process for most of us to divest, especially with our diets. It's a process for most of us to divest from the things that have been placed in our community to kill us, right? And to watch people that thrive for it, go for it, and get it on if there's levels to this, right? And to watch people put in that work to do it and see them come out on the other side stronger and not weaker. That's a powerful blueprint, and that's why his name, his work, his legacy should not be in vain. It should not disappear. It's so beautiful, though. I don't be want to tell nobody about it. It's like you gotta even be close to me at a certain level before I even give you details, you know, and because it's become with the Abiba Toomey movement, the Abiba Toomey Center, the AbibaToomey.com, everything they're building is becoming so beautiful. I just want to build a hedge around it.
Come on, Ashe. You know,
let's get to work, man. Let's keep working. Let's build.
Let's build.
That's what I'm just kind of letting out what my emotions have been through the process, and it's just an honor to be working with that family right now. And like you say, the son, you know, young man, look, linguistic genius.
Yes, he is.
Linguistic genius. You know, it's just a powerful family, powerful example of Black love. And I mean, you talking about people, you know, like look at us and me and Nkoyo, and I love my baby, but woo, that's goals right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's Black love goals all day long, y'all. There are giants among us Black people. You're just distracted, and you don't see it. But the solution, the problems in our face, the solutions in our face, and there are powerful examples out there for us to learn from.
Ashe. Thank you so much, Baba Amin Ojo. Brother Knowledge Born, what were your thoughts on the life and legacy of Nana Cambon, and what can we learn and take away from his life and legacy?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at three of the finest examples of what I could strive for, of what we fight and train for, what we sacrifice for. So our next generations, our future generations will not have to start from scratch. Dr. Cambon and his family, going back to the clip just for a second, if I could.
Please.
He was leaving. The world would have never heard the call for extermination if they would have let our elder just go about his business. He was one that was adamant about being where he was supposed to be. He said, I had another radio show to do. I have to go do that show. He was a man about his business. So because they made him stay there, He told him what his business was going to be about.
He sure did. He sure did at the beginning of the clip. He sure did.
So he was leaving. He said, no, I have to go. I have to be somewhere. And because they precluded him, they prevented him from being where he was at, he took the moment to go to the microphone to deliver a message of reformation. A message of reformation. He was speaking of his experience, past, present, and future, and he tied it to our experience. He was the definition of I am because we are.
Okay.
Did you hear him speak about his queen?
Yes. Oh,
the
yes.
entire time. Did you hear him? And I'm listening to him, and it's reverberating in my mind, and I'm thinking about Baba Amin, and I'm thinking about Baba and Mwalimu Baruti. I'm thinking about in the same manner in which y'all speak about your queens, in the same manner. This is why this is a continuation. This is an understanding, and this is why we converge here around our queen, Dr. Maat.
Ashe.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, so this is evidence. When you start to look at, Bob Imhotep, I know he was supposed to be here, but that's another example.
Absolutely.
It's another example. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we have examples. We have tried and true examples. And he spoke about a 40-year process.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't talk about a 40-minute process. He talked about a 40-year process of divesting, a continual process of divesting, making clothes, and divesting everything European from its mind, body, spirit, and consciousness, and modeling a behavior that his children and the people that was around him could fall in line with.
Ashe.
It wasn't empty talk.
No.
It wasn't do as I say, not as I do.
That's right.
It was one that was disciplined. So he did not falter in that space. He did not shy away from the opportunity to tell the truth. He was only talking to us. The world got the benefit of it, and they ran from it.
Mm-hmm.
So as we were speaking about Dr. Khaled, we're reminded with Baba Malcolm X. Baba Malcolm X had to leave Dr. Betty Shabazz and his children in the arms of his enemies.
Mm.
This is why he wanted them to come to the Audubon ballroom. One of his daughters was still left in the arm of his enemies as he was being assassinated. She was not there. So a life and a legacy, Dr. Cambon joins the pantheon of a Dr. John Henry Clark and a Dr. Ben in regards to that timeline. Look at the timeline of this last week. We were going through Kwanzaa, right? Mm-hmm. Look at all of the days and times and syncs in regards to how this lines up and what's going on today.
Oh,
I say
he was a traditionalist. He was a traditionalist. So what can we take from his legacy? What tradition are you involved in that's detoxifying you and challenging you to divest yourself of European concepts? What's helping you remove yourself from the entrance web of European insanity? We have the minds that are here. So if you want to build a house and you ain't dealing with STEM, I don't know what to tell you.
Come on, Dallas. Don't get Dallas.
Tell you,
Dallas boy. Don't get me started.
Look, there's examples right here in front of your face. If you want to know how to grow a family, how to sustain a family, how to go into business for yourself, how to be of service to your people, you are looking at three of the finest examples I could name. So if you're not there and you're working how to get there, you have examples. And then we have to form standing armies to protect our children's children. So if you got issues with striving to get there, if you like you on some stuff where you like, I'm good with this, like you said, Baba Lisa, I'm good with this, but I ain't good with some of these things. Your great grandchildren are worth it. Mm-hmm. They're worth the sacrifice. They are worth the sacrifice because our enemies have plans for our great grandchildren. Do we have plans for them? They have coffins for them.
Yep.
They have diseducation for them. They have miseducation for them. They have bad foods for them. They have repression for them. They have everything lined up for the next 17 generations of us until we exterminate.
Absolutely.
And as our Bible teaches us, he said there is nothing that can guarantee us not going back into slavery. He said there's nothing real.
Right.
That's what he says to us. So are we going to heed the call? Are we going to heed the call of our warrior scholars who sacrificed their lives, decades of their lives, not for aggrandizement, but for you to look? If you found one proper example, I come from one of them schools. They said proper education always corrects errors. We are in error. We are in error.
Yes, we are.
And we are addicted to the error. We have justifications for the error. We spend time on the error.
Right.
And we run from the correction.
Mm-hmm.
We run from the correction. The correction was our protection. The correction is not our infection. The correction is our protection. And he showed us this with his life. He gave us a platform. If you were teaching, you have a platform, a BB Toomey. You can put your classes up on a BB Toomey.
That's right.
He gave our warrior artists, those ones who facilitated in the realm of hip hop, a motivation. Some of the people that are listening, they heard Dr. Cambon speech, the part of that speech that you played from United Front for the first time. They might have got that excerpt from that first time, and they might have gone on that path based off of what they heard from some artists. So we have the artists, we have the entrepreneurs, we have the educationalists, we have the agriculturalists, and we have the standing military might and force to be free. That's what I took away from his legacy. That's what I took away from his legacy and his life and the life of his family. Baba Steve Coakley Sr., his son, Steve Coakley Jr., and their family they're working still in the trenches. The Cambons are still working. We got families that are still working actively, not passively, not when it's okay, not when it's cute, not when the fanfare is there, not when the camera's there. They work when the cameras are gone. We have a standing commitment and an ancestral debt to see our people free.
Ashe.
Wow.
I guess Knowledge Born said I land my plane right there. That was powerful, powerful, powerful. And thank you so much for that, Brother Knowledge Born. Ashe. And so my thoughts when I saw like the C-SPAN video and played the clip, I saw complementarity at work because as you stated, Brother Knowledge Born, he spoke about his compliment. He said, well, she convinced me not to use the medicine and not to deliver in the house. And, and she was right out there with, the chainsaw building with me, And so I said, wow, this is complementarity at work, So that's what I heard when I listened to the video. I saw that complementarity at work. I also heard him acknowledging we are at war. He said he said it, but we're at war right now. And he talked about what he observed, growing up in New York and what he saw. And he made the decision. I had to, like you said, divest. And he really divested, built the log cabin, took his family down to North Carolina, homeschooling the children. I heard they were growing their own food. Someone told me he was growing their own food too. Growing your own food, build your own log cabin, educating your babies. He was a wonderful, as you all three of you talked about, a model of what it means to be African, what it means to re-Africanize ourselves. He was a warrior. And that's what I said before we went live. I said, I'm telling you a lot of him and what I've, the videos and clips that I've seen and even in engaging with his son. I saw that warrior, that Asafo spirit in him. That's what I got from Nana Cambon. And what I saw, and then seeing that through his son and what he produced. I remember there was a brother that reached out to me years ago. This maybe been about 10 years ago. He said, Dr. Mod, how do you judge, or, how do you measure an ideology? But this can now translate to how do you measure a village? You measure it by the fruit that it bears. And that's what I said to that young person. That's how I measure an ideology. And that's how I measure, a village. What fruit is coming out of the village? And I see the fruit coming out of his village. I see his son, Uncle Nini Cambon, Baba Amin talked about his granddaughter. We see the fruit coming out of his village because of what he did, but because of what him and his complement did when they divested from the system and they went through that process of re-Africanization and what that did for the next generations. And so what I think of when I think of him and his legacy, and just listening to him talk, and Baba Baruti's 1,000% correct. Even on YouTube, there are clips of him talking, and he's straight to the point. It's like it's no long lecture. It's like he's talking maybe 25 minutes, 26 minutes, and he's done. He wasn't about a lot of talking. What I got from him is demonstration beats conversation, and it's time to get serious. We can't have one foot in and one foot out. Baba Baruti and I had a discussion called drawing a line in the sand, and he's and that's what I see with him, drawing a line in the sand and getting serious about these things, right? Getting serious about being African. That's what I get from him. Being serious about re-Africanizing ourselves and our families and our community. Getting serious. And again, demonstration beats conversation. And that's what I get from the life and legacy of Nana Cambon. Babas, do you have any closing words for the listening audience?
Well, I would just say study. Continue to study. If you're watching this video and you're hearing the name of Dr. Kamau Kambon for the first time, go study. Go to abibatumi.com and understand that there are advocates out here, fighters and warriors out here that they're not running to the internet with everything that they do.
Right.
But we want to remember them. They don't want to be on your t-shirt. They don't want to be on a sweater.
Come on, Baba.
None of that. They lead by example, and the best way to honor them is to honor yourself and better yourself, and focus on improving yourself, honoring your children, honoring your complement. That's the best way you can honor a giant like Baba Cambon.
Ashe. Baba Baruti.
Baba Amin just said it. Pick up that spear, pick up that shield, do the work, and do the work inside of you. Do the work, in your family. Do the work in your community. Don't look for the camera. Just get the work done. Somebody's gonna be watching. Somebody who needs to be watching is gonna be watching.
Ashe. Brother Knowledge Born. Any closing words for the listening audience?
Well, we have the 7-day celebration of life to glean from, to take hold of it. If it's new for you, you've not heard of it, find a way to introduce and institute something African in your family that's righteous. And then we have the 40-day journey trek into ancestorhood. Understand what that's about. Learn what these things are, these practical things, because he was very practical. So, we can take the icons and the things off the wall and put them into practice. Where's the evidence of your practice? We have the books, we have everything. Where's the evidence of it in your practice, in your life? What's one thing you can devote your time and your energy to completing? I remember Baba Amin issued us a challenge. Where's your acre of land? You understand what I'm saying? Like, he said, where's your acre of land? Like, and he ain't saying it in a haughty way. He said it in a way of practicality. So if you're listening, look for those who give practical examples and continue. If you're the practical example, continue to be a practical example and support this broadcast. Dr. Ma'at is one of the last standing spaces where truth is really being spoken to power, whether it's apologetic or not, whether it's welcome or not. And if y'all come for Dr. Ma'at, It's an army behind her.
Ashe.
We don't play about.
Absolutely.
Ashe. And I want to take time out to thank you, Babas, for coming on again. I know that all three of you are just extremely, extremely busy. But when I called you, you came, and I appreciate that. So I appreciate it. Adupe, Asante Sana, Baba Baruti, Baba Amin, and my brother Knowledge Born. I appreciate you all coming on. Abibi Fahodie, Abibi Tumi.
Abibi Fahodie.
Black power, y'all.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
All right, family.
Good job.
All right, family. So this is the website right here on abibitumi.com. I'm going to drop the link, family, in the chat. You heard from Baba Baruti, Baba Amin, Ojuok, and my big brother Knowledge Born tonight on our thoughts on the life and legacy of Nana Cambon and what we can learn and take away from his life and legacy. So, family, I dropped the link on from abibitumi.com. The family announced his passing, and they also announced 4 ways to share your love and support. 1, you can register and attend the 1-week celebration of life ceremony. It actually started today. The time, 3 p.m. Ghana time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Earlier today, I misspoke and I said the other way around, but it's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Ghanaian time. You can register and attend the 1-week celebration of life ceremony. 2, family, you can send a love donation to Nana Kamau Kambon's Memorial Fund. 3, family, you can record and send a selfie video with your memories, reflections, life, and impact to support at abibitumi.com. And lastly, 4, family, you can send in your pictures or videos with Baba Kamau to support at abibitumi.com, family. Look at these pictures. Beautiful slideshow right here, family. You can go on here. Beautiful slideshow of him and his family. And then you also have testimonies to Nana Cambon family. So these are ways you can share your support. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. You all showed up and showed out. Please make sure before you get out here that you thumb up the video and that you not only thumb up the video, but share it. Let's get this word out. Let's let the world know about our great now ancestor, Nana Cambon. All right, family. So peace and black power. Abibi Fahodie, Abibi Tumi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, before you leave out, make sure you thumb up the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you will be notified. Peace and black power.
The elders are our living ancestors. They are our direct connection to the African spirit and way. And we distinguish between the elders and those who are simply older, whose menticide has driven some of us into a treasonous arrogance. Those who are truly elders are our seasoned visionaries. They are our proven warrior servant workers. They are those who uncompromisingly speak to what needs to be done, and this is the life of revolutionary sovereignty seeking experience. And hold our vision closer to their hearts because they are us on the horizon of return.
Put your lighters up high, wave them round side by side. We gon' light up the sky where the ancestors ride. For the nights that we cry, but tonight we take pride, cause the spirit never dies. So through us, they alive. Put your lighters up high, wave them round side by side. We gon' light up the sky where the ancestors ride. For the nights that we cry, but tonight we take pride, cause the spirit never dies. We gon' celebrate their lives. Yo, I wonder if we seen the elders rise from the grave and they seen us today. Look what they say. Envision as you see my words glide from the page. I imagine they would be so ashamed of our ways. We in the same position, maybe because we ain't listen. Do we like the discipline for the tunes they was spitting? Or maybe this was karma because we ain't show them honor. Word to Dr. Ben, we should have held them down stronger. Call it how I see it, maybe that was signs from Jesus. A metaphor on how we gon' treat our own leaders. They came here to teach us and we cheered from the bleachers. soldiers. And when it's time to ride, we turn our backs when they need us. We pour libations when we form our own nation. I pray we wake up and see the time we was wasting. We even seen Elijah lay the blueprint for black power. Peace to the scholars like Dr. Wilson and Tony Brown. To light us up high, wave around side by side. We gon' light up the sky where the ancestors ride. For the nights that we cry, but tonight we take pride, cause the spirit never dies. So through us, they alive. Put the lighters up high, wave around side by side. We gon' light up the sky where the ancestors ride. For the nights that we cry, but tonight we take pride, cause the spirit never dies. We gon' celebrate their lives. If you can hear this, throw your fist in the air. We gon' do this for our family that's here. Yo, this is the hour of celebration for black power. To all the soldiers and scholars, giving their flowers. The frontliners like Jabari and the soul vibers. They rep Tubman City, they set the bar higher. And them brothers like KT, the arts degree, they gon' carry on the legacy of Dr. Savior. Peace to risen Islam and Brother Ben. With youth like them, we can end our own suffering. Break the curse of Willie Lynch with Charles S. Finch. Professor Small, take us back to the essence. I pay homage to Carlos Muhammad and Dr. Maya, torchbearers that kept it honest. To light us up high, wave around side by side. We gon' light up the sky where the ancestors ride. For the nights that we cry, but tonight we take pride, cause the spirit never dies. So through us, they alive. Put the lighters up high, wave around side by side. We gon' light up the sky where the ancestors ride. For the nights that we cry, but tonight we take pride, cause the spirit never dies. We gon' celebrate their lives. My energy and my thoughts is like John Clark. Still on this marathon like Farrakhan. I got an army of riders taught by Elijah. It's how we start this evolution. Patricia Newton.
All right, family, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate your presence. Make sure that you share the video. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodie. Until next time, family.